Hello and welcome to a triple product comparison video from Longhorn Tactical. Today we will be comparing the Fenix HT18, the Nitecore P30i, and the Olight WarX Turbo in Longhorn Tactical's first ever 1000-yarder club extreme Royal Rumble winner takes all last flashlight standing demolition derby extravaganza. I apologize. Here are the stat lines for the three flashlights. Max brightness. The HT18 has a max brightness of 1500 lumen. The P30i has a max brightness of 2000 lumen. The WarX Turbo has a max brightness of 1100 lumen. So, that is 1 point for the P30i. Beam intensity. The HT18 has a peak beam intensity of 214,187 Candela. The P30i has a peak beam intensity of 250,000 Candela. The WarX Turbo has a peak beam intensity of 250,000 Candela. A point each for the P30i and the WarX Turbo. Max beam throw. The HT18 has a max beam throw of 1,011 yards or 925 meters. The P30i has a max beam throw of 1,093 yards or 1,000 meters. The WarX Turbo has a max beam throw of 1,093 yards or 1,000 meters. Another point each for the P30i and WarX Turbo. User settings. The HT18 has 4 brightness modes and strobe, with the brightness modes having a fairly even distribution: 30 lumen low, 150 lumen mid, a 500 lumen high, with a 1500 lumen turbo. The P30i has 5 brightness modes and 2.5 special modes: beacon, SOS, and strobe. I say 2.5 because you can use beacon and SOS whenever, but you can only use strobe with the pressure switch. Ultralow at 6 lumen, low at 85 lumen, mid at 385 lumen, high at 1000 lumen, turbo at 2000 lumen. The WarX Turbo has just 2 brightness modes, 1100 lumen and 150 lumen low. User settings are rather difficult to adjudicate from a purely objective standpoint, thus I will not be assigning any points, as it comes down to personal preference. Battery and charging. The HT18 comes with a Fenix 5000 mAh 21700 U series battery, which means the battery can be charged via the USB-C slot or with a traditional charger. A very minor inconvenience is that you need to remove the battery from the light in order to charge it. The P30i comes with Nitecore's I-Series 5000 mAh 21700 battery. These can also be charged in a traditional charger. However, the P30i can be directly charged via the USB-C slot on its tail cap. The WarX Turbo comes with a 5000 mAh custom 21700 battery. These can also be charged in a traditional charger. However, like many of Olight's newer lights, it comes with their magnetic charging USB cable. Now I am torn on this MCC system. On the one hand, this is just so satisfying. However, I am not a fan of proprietary technology. It is unnecessarily exclusionary and anti-competitive, and should my dog decide to munch on a USB-C cable, or I run over it with a vacuum, then I have plenty of spares, whereas with this MCC cable I am required to obtain a new one should anything happen to it. Flashlight profile. The HT18 is 7.24 inches long, has a head diameter of 2.68 inches, and a tube diameter of 1.02 inch. It weighs 7.8 ounces without the battery, and 10.4 ounces with the battery. The P30i is 6.99 inches long, has a head diameter of 2.56 inches, and a tube diameter of 1 inch, and weighs 8.8 ounces unloaded, and 11.4 ounces with the battery. The WarX Turbo is 6.18 inches long, has a head diameter of 2.28 inches, and a tube diameter of 1.03 inch. It weighs 7.8 ounces unloaded, and 10.4 ounces with the battery. I am going to give a point to the WarX Turbo here. It has the most compact profile amongst the 3 lights. One of my gripes with the P30i and the HT18 is that if you plan on mounting this to a rifle, you are essentially compelled to do so in a very specific way, because the head diameter is so large. Here you can see, using this low profile angle mount, I have to move it further up the rail to have enough clearance for the head of the flashlight, or you are required to barrel mount. On the other hand, if you do not plan on mounting any of these lights, but just carrying it around as your long-range searching spotlight, having a smaller profile is also generally advantageous. Beam profile. This table is aligned parallel to the wall, and all 3 lights are set on their highest brightness modes, with their respective reflectors placed equidistant from the wall. This is an excellent example of the principle of collimation. The WarX Turbo with the smallest reflector has the largest spill section, whereas the HT18 with the largest reflector has the smallest spill section, because the increased surface area of the reflector is collimating more incidental light emanating from the LED. The WarX Turbo has the smallest hotspot with a very clean transition into the spill. However, the spill is very weak, which you can see here in the outdoor test. The P30i and the HT18 however have a distinct hotspot with a secondary transition ring that blends into the spill. Another thing of note is that the P30i is leaning towards the cool side in terms of color temperature, with the WarX Turbo being closest towards neutral and the HT18 leaning slightly warm in terms of color temperature. Finally, additional accessories. The Fenix HT18 comes with a flashlight, a 5000 mAh battery, USB-C charging cable for the battery, a nylon holster, a battery adapter sleeve so you can use 18650 or 2 CR123A batteries, and a snap-on red and green filter, lanyard, spare O-ring, and spare tail switch. The Fenix HT18 retails for $129.95 on LonghornTactical.com. The Nitecore P30i comes with the flashlight, the 5000 mAh battery, a USB-C charging cable, an RS2WI pressure switch, a battery sleeve so you can use 2 CR123As in series, pocket clip, nylon holster, and spare O-ring, and retails for $139.95 on LonghornTactical.com. The WarX Turbo comes with the flashlight, the 5000 mAh battery, the MCC3 charging cable, a silicone tactical grip ring that you can switch out from the aluminum grip ring, lanyard, and nylon holster, and retails for $139.95 on LonghornTactical.com. In conclusion, the Fenix HT18, the Nitecore P30i, and the Olight WarX Turbo are the latest in handheld long-throw flashlights available at LonghornTactical.com. The HT18 is very solid and has very few flaws. However, the same can be said about concrete or clay. In short, I find it rather unexciting, but the argument can be made, what better praise can one give a tool other than that it is so functional you don't really ever think about it? The P30i, on the other hand, is the overachiever. It has the highest lumen value. It has an included USB-C pressure switch for a similar price to the others, the most brightness modes, and of course special modes. This would be my value purchase. It is optimized for long-range lighting, but I can also use it for other things in a pinch. In summary, it gives you the most options and you are only limited by your own creativity. If this was a knife comparison, the WarX Turbo is a surgical scalpel or a box cutter. It is very optimized for just one function and nothing else. Its simplicity is elegant, but you are limited in functionality. Without a strobe, it is not very tactical, so I do not see myself mounting it to a combat rifle. And without the low settings or special modes, it cannot really be the only light you have on your person. However, for long distance surveying and spotting in a compact package, it is a very solid choice. If you have enjoyed these videos or think I am a big dumb fart, please leave a comment or suggestion below. If you would like to stay up to date on future product releases from brands such as Olight, Fenix, Nitecore, and more, sales announcements, and all things flashlight related, please consider subscribing to the Longhorn Tactical YouTube channel. And thank you.